What's going on, guys? WhiteFox1225 here with our first video of the year, and today I want to talk about a game that's been a long time coming and I'm really excited for, and that is Cyberpunk 2077. Originally it was a pen and paper RPG that was pretty popular, but now it's coming in game form thanks to CD Projekt Red, also the developers of The Witcher 3. Obviously that's really cool because Witcher 3 is a great game, really highly reviewed and one of the best RPGs of the decade. Now this game was first announced way back in 2012, and we really haven't gotten a huge amount of information, but we do have enough to get an idea of what the game is going to be like and what to expect. So in this video I'm just going to be telling you guys everything we know so far and everything you have to know for launch. Let's just start off with that it is a single player RPG, but it will have some multiplayer aspects, and we'll talk about that later. It takes place in 2077, obviously, in a city called Night City. That was also the location of the pen and paper RPG. It's a fictional city in California. The city is going to be a sandbox environment. Not completely sure what that means, but it will have some sandbox elements to it. It is a cyberpunk game, so it is going to have lots of sci-fi elements, but also some elements that reflect modern day. That's kind of I'd say the core of a cyberpunk sort of theme. It's going to have lots of rundown parts, but very futuristic and high-tech. Lots of neon, the things you would kind of expect from a cyberpunk game. Now, it's going to be really cool to play an RPG in a crowded city setting, especially something, when you're going from a medieval fantasy setting from stuff like Skyrim or The Witcher 3, now you're in a futuristic city, and I don't really think that a game has done that, or really an RPG has done that in the past, so it'll be cool to see how that translates. One big piece of news that came out a few months ago is that they put in a request for a grant, which is just money that you get for research or technology, and the grant was for a new tech that includes city creation, animation excellence, cinematic feel, and seamless multiplayer. Some of those explain themselves, but I'm going to go into them. First off, city creation would include, in the description, a complex technology for creating a huge living city playable in real time based on rules, AI, and automation, and supports innovative processes and tools for making top-notch open-world games. That can be kind of hard to understand, but to me what that sounds like is that the city is going to be ever evolving. It's going to be a living city that's always working, and you're just going to log in and experience it for an hour or two, but even after you log out, it's still going to change, and it's going to feel like a living place like New York City or San Francisco or something like that. Now, I'm not sure that it's complete speculation, but it is something other people have gotten a hint of too from that description. Obviously, they're trying to innovate, they're getting money for research, so hopefully we get something really cool and something we haven't seen before in other RPGs. And again, it's going to be really cool to play an RPG in a big, futuristic city setting. Like I said before, they put in a request for money for research on animation excellence and cinematic feel. I kind of feel like those explain themselves, but I do personally think this game would do really well with the cinematic feel, almost like you were in a movie, especially with all the lights and the big city and the future setting. I think that would be really cool. But the other thing that was mentioned was seamless multiplayer. A lot of people are really hesitant about this because when we like big RPGs like The Witcher, like Skyrim, we like them to be single player. We don't like co-op or anything. But the description said it would be a complex technology for making unique multiplayer gameplay mechanics, including the ability to search for opponents, manage game sessions, replicate objects, and support different game modes along with a unique set of dedicated tools. That's really hard to understand what they're talking about there. At first, I really didn't like the sound of multiplayer. I really think the only games that should be multiplayer are shooters or MMOs or something like that. Definitely not a straight RPG. But as I thought about it more and more, the pen and paper game was multiplayer, obviously, because you have to play with other people. So if they are trying to replicate that, it does make sense to put in a multiplayer option. But if you're worried about it, I wouldn't worry too much because the devs still said it's going to feel like a single player RPG like the ones they've done in the past, like The Witcher 3, but it will have some multiplayer options. Let's move into what the story is going to look like. It looks like the story is going to have a lot of focus on corruption and inequality in the city. We've seen this a lot with other sci-fi movies and games, but I do think it works really well with the genre. Projekt Red said it's going to reflect modern day fears and issues and problems that already face the world to the extreme. Also, they said the story is going to be a rise to power in some sort of sense, not really sure what that means. It's also going to involve a type of VR called brain dances that lets you feel like you're living someone else's life when you're not. and the people who use it too much lose their minds and turn almost into robots. And you can see that in the trailer with that girl who's being shot by the police, and she has some robot features. That's one of those people who got hooked on the Braindance VR system and used it too much. Hopefully they use this a lot in the story, because I think it could make for some really cool things in the plot. If you can actually see what someone else is doing and live their life, it could make for some really cool situations. Moving on, you actually will make your character in this game, unlike The Witcher, and the character creation they said is really detailed. You'll be able to print off a character sheet from the game that you can use in the pen and paper game. I'm really excited about this because I love to create my characters in my RPGs, and even though I love The Witcher, I always kind of wish you could make your own character. Moving into combat really quick before we end the video, combat will be based on the pen and paper system in some shape or form. Not too sure how that will equal into gameplay at all. They also said there's going to be lots of high-tech weapons and gadgets to use, and that should be pretty fun to play around with. There's lots of rumors on when the game is going to be released. Some people have said 2017, some have said 2018, and there's lots of leaked information that kind of points to both. So it could go either way. Personally, I think 2018. Projekt Red has just said it's going to be released when it's done, which is good, but that doesn't really give us a time frame. But I would definitely guess within the next 2 years, at the longest, it's possible to come out this year too. But I'm going to keep covering it, and as we get more news, I'll keep making more videos. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button, always covering new RPGs and MMOs. Thank you guys for watching again, and I'll see you in the next one.